Hey up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm after the grey menace again, the invasive grey squirrel. My primary objective is to save the red squirrels, or protect them, and look after all little critters that are predated on by grey squirrels. So I'm back in Hyde. It's just after first light. It's still quite dark when you look through scope. So I've got ATM 4K Pro in night mode, which is my standard thing that I do now when I first start my shooting sessions early in the morning. And here's my first visitor. Now that weren't my best shot. I should have been a little bit more patient. I'd lined up on Ed, which would have been a perfect shot. If you look just at last second, he sort of moves forward for another piece of wheat. There you go. I've released shot. Luckily, it's an heart and lung shot. And that's first squirrel on floor. After every shot like that, you evaluate it, what went wrong. Luckily, because I've got 4K Pro, I can review footage. I understood what had happened. And I won't make the same mistake again. Now during the morning, I could hear a pair of jays, I think it were, moving through Woodland in search of food. They're a beautiful animal, but they are on general licence in UK. They are considered as pest species. And if I get opportunity, I will take one or two. But I'll never take too many. I'm just here to trim numbers and keep population at a manageable level. Here's my view from Hyde. Gen 2 Primo sticks. Got camcorder set up on right. I spot some more movement. Usually, if you sat still, you keep relatively quiet. You're alerted to something's presence by its sound that I've said before. Go through my usual routine. Nice and comfy. Plant my feet. A very welcome visitor. I place that shot from behind, straight between shoulder blades or straight between wing line. There is no protection from behind. There's no breastbone to it. It's a devastating shot. I think that's my first J, 2022, maybe my second. As you can see, devastating shot. Just how you want it. Lights out. Little bike flip. 10 out of 10. I'm really pleased with that. You can see how spacious this side is. There's a second chair there for when I'm accompanied by one of my friends. But when there's no one with me, it's an ideal place to rest your cup of coffee and anything else you need to, really. Now, a frosty morning, something in the region of -3. We just had a cold snap. And it's prime time for greys to start concentrating on feeders. I like that natural food. They'll have iced over, rotted. Here's me hide again. Just showing me a shooting chair. Nicely set bike. Just a very little bit of silencer poking through that shooting window. Comfy position. Out at wind. Inside an hide like this, it generates a little bit of heat, so it might be 1 or 2 degrees warmer than what it is on outside. And if you're wrapped up warm, thermals on, neoprene boots, neoprene gloves, I wear a neck stud and that, I'm generally quite warm. You can see it's still a bit gloomy out. I've got another one here. I'm thinking about shot, but I'm convinced it's going to go at feeder. Quick readjustment, planting them feet again. Just above eyebrow. Shot go straight through, pass straight into the brain. I actually think that shot probably went straight through eye. Looking at it in slow motion. Spectacular flip. Always a bit over dramatic, these grey squirrels. And again, pleased. This feeder is starting to prove to be really productive. I've said it before, but I'd expect this time next year, once this feeder's established properly, that we're getting double figures off it. Now, I watched these birds for a while. I didn't manage to catch it on camera, but a sparrowhawk come swooping in, scattered everything in sight. I don't think he took a bird, but I'm not right sure. It happened all that fast. Everything went quiet for about 10 minutes after that. Lovely to see, even though it was just maybe 1 or 2 seconds that I managed to see it. But that's beauty of a feeder. It attracts all kinds of wildlife, supports whole ecosystem, from small birds to larger birds. I think come light about 7:30 in the morning, and I wrap session up about 10:30, 11 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock. So only 3.5 hours. And plenty of full action. A really pleasing morning to be at. This squirrel's a little bit jittery. There's traces of blood on the floor. There could even be a fallen squirrel still out there. You can see how intense it is on feeding. I had to make another quick adjustment. We're expecting to take a shot on the floor. They made it to feeder. Perfect shot placement. Full frontal. A little bit of death roll, which is common. I've said it before, it's just inhibition. And it's what you expect to see as an hunter. It's common behaviour. Nothing to be concerned about. Time to be concerned is if you shoot like a grey squirrel and it don't react like that. If it's trying to lift its head up, trying to lift its front paws, that's when you know you've got an issue and probably a follow-up shot needed. This feeder's been in place a couple of months, and it is bringing a lot of different little critters in. It's a beautiful little bird. I think it's a nuthatch, I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know what you think it is. Just leaning forward, setting camcorder on record. I don't always remember. I'm usually concentrating on getting rifle on point and taking shot. So there is a bit of camcorder footage in this video, but not as much as usual. And here's that second J. Thinking about shot front back again. Readjust, readjust. It turned around lovely for me. Full frontal shot. Devastating again. 177 pellet. Run at about 11.7 foot-pounds. 10.34 Grange ASPs. It'll make short work of any small mammal or bird. Time to pop rifle back up, prop it up, nice and secure against that branch. Probably get a cup of coffee. Sit back, try and relax 5-10 minutes, but always keeping my eyes peeled, always listening out. Now this was a wonderful sight, just at right, at feeder and slightly above. Got a common buzzard coming. It took off at this point, but it didn't go very far. Landed in a tree about another 10 yards further back. I managed to watch it for a couple of minutes before it flies off. It were interested on squirrels on the floor. I really expected it coming down, but they're not stupid at all. They're really intelligent. It'll have known how we're around. It didn't hang about too long. Lovely sight. Things like that just pass so much time on. And how privileged are we to see them kind of things? This is why I do what I do. It's not all about the art of shooting. It's about seeing the sights and sounds that we see. Now, I've had this little recipe in mind for a while. I tested it out the other week. And it's pheasant wrapped in bacon. So pheasant in blankets. I think it's going to be a little delight on Christmas dinner table. The opportunity to come along here to get a nice fresh pheasant. Perfect headshot. Flap about, a few little rolls. It soon comes to the rest. It is slow motion. I like to show you slow motion shots. You can determine shot placement a bit better. I know I'm a bit low there, so I raise it up slightly. Straight to the back at brain. That's a lovely cock pheasant. They'll be eaten over Christmas. Now, on this permission, I can take as many pheasants as I want. But it's not about how many you want. It's about having a need for them. So I knew I'd got something in mind for this one. I'm a firm believer that whatever you shoot, you use. You show that animal the greatest respect you can. And that's by cooking it up, turning it into a lovely meal. And its death's not been in vain. I usually commonly refer to pheasant as English turkey. I think it's appropriate at this time of year. Safety on, record off, and just prop my rifle up again. Shooting's all about patience. It's all about taking your opportunities when they come along. And the art of shooting, hunting, it does teach you to be patient. You know, there's plenty of inactivity between shots sometimes. Not so much so on this particular morning. We're quite action-packed. And it's great when you have a session like that. Really keeps you focused, really keeps you on point. And you generally fill your freezer. Now that buzzard had been around. Squirrels that were coming in were a little bit jittery. So it was time for a pick-up. Ground were frosty. So I'm taking gingerly steps. Trying not to make too much noise. So I'm going to make some noise because I'm walking on frozen leaves. But it's still about as being stealthy and as quiet as you can. Create as least disturbance as you can as well. Now when you do a pickup like this, generally everything in immediate area will go quiet for probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's a good time to stretch your legs, especially when it's cold. Get a bit of blood flow going through veins. Warm your legs up. Get back in hide. And you know you can probably sit back for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Get a coffee ready. Have a bit of smoke. A nice little pick up. Think of a jay, a squirrel and a pheasant. Put them in hide with me. All areas clear now. Any bodies. So anything else that comes in or I'm expecting to come in should come in a bit more steadily, a bit more focused and ready to feed. It's back to watching birds. Got a camcorder watching birds this time. And what comes in front right? Grey squirrel. And this is why them branches are propped up against feeder. See how it gives them a route onto the feeder? What grey squirrels tend to do is they follow scent lines. So they'll be following the brethrens, the family members, whatever it may be. And they'll follow the same places. And same paths. As you can see, that was a lovely shot. A little bit of twitching, back legs, front legs. It's not trying to lift its head up. You know it's going to expire within a few seconds because it's just nerves that are shutting its body down. And here's footage from ATM 4K Pro on the same shot. Side on, slightly facing me, shot above eye, just over eyebrow. Crosses through brain at a diagonal route. It is in slow motion, zoomed in, oh, not slow motion, zoomed in a little bit for you. Bush. Good night for that squirrel. What do you think to red crosshair? I'm enjoying it. It's not giving me any problems like black one did it past. Now black were fine, not squirrels. But when you're expecting all types of quaddy coming in, you've got to account for that. I won't take that shot there. You're likely to end up hitting shoulder. Move it slightly up. Bring it back on focus. Just above eyebrow. There we are. Release my shot. Remember that follow through? See how my crosshairs stay in the same place? Vitally important. Saves you pulling shots. So remember to practice that during moments in activity. Keep rifle on safe. Go through motions of taking a shot. And train your muscle memory to recognise that that's what you do every time. And it'll make you a more accurate, better shooter. Here's another pheasant. Now I've got one in pot or one in the bag. That's all I need. So there's no reason for me to take this pheasant. I'll let this one be, as well as probably 2 or 3 others that I saw. There were a couple of M pheasants came round. I'll let them do the little thing. They're always there for another day. And from time to time, it's just nice to watch them. So here's my scope of choice. You've seen it a million times. Excite 4K Pro. It's on an S510 Ultimate Sporter. I've seen a little bit more activity. Just get myself ready again. This time it's a squirrel. Looks like it was trying to dig something up in that area. Digging, sniffing, can't quite work it out. That camo net's just getting away because it's slightly to the right at feeder, this one. So it's making the image slightly blurry, but you can see it perfectly clear enough. And that's another grey squirrel in bag. Happy with that. One last look through scope. Make sure reaction's good. Get it propped up. It's like my favourite little branch and perch now, that for my rifle. I know rifle's secure, I don't have to worry about it falling over. And I'm straight back on it. Another squirrel. Now if I remember footage right, I think this one gives me a bit of a run around. You can smell all others. There's blood on ground. You can smell death in area. So it's making it really, really wary. Really, really reluctant to come to the feeder. I'm sure it runs up and down. It goes round back at tree. It shows you how patient you need to be. And how sometimes they can mess you around. So this footage is about probably a minute and a half long from this point onwards. And I'm going to leave it in. I haven't fast forwarded it because I want you to see and appreciate what happens sometimes. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I'll let this footage unfold. I'll come back to you shortly. So not much longer after this point, it does actually make its way up onto the feeder. Look, straight one of them branches. Straight on. I'm quick with this shot. Quick adjustment, nice and steady. Bang. I didn't want to muck about. Obviously, it gave me muck around for 2 or 3 minutes. I wanted to get this one on deck. Oh, what a great session. I knew this location would pay off. It's bitterly cold, it's about -2, -3. It's got them on feed. Really pleased with that. Couple of bonus J's. I won't normally take many of these. That's probably my limit for this year on this permission. They all got a good use. I'm going to use them for taxidermy, and I'll practice on them and try and make myself a couple of specimens. Hide's looking well. Still holding up to weather and wind, so that's nice. That'll be alright for winter now. Feeder's still 3/4 full. All that feed on floor that I poured out here a couple of weeks ago, that's all gone. But looking good. Well, that brings that video to a close, and I've probably said it before in previous videos, but wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Here's to a great 2023 for us all, and I'll see you in the next video.